Thanks for joining us, Coach Skinner. We will now begin with an opening statement before we go to questions. So please go ahead with your opening statement.
Well, thank you, and guess I should have prepared for an opening statement, but just got a little bit of sleep last night, and continue to be excited for our program and players and staff for the energy and effort we put in. We started practice on August 4th last year, and obviously a couple different seasons, playing in the fall and then again this spring. But to be still having the chance to work with and coach and be around a special group like this, certainly exciting time for our university administration and the whole Big Blue Nation that continues to support us year in, year out.
Thank you. We will now go to questions from the media. Once again, everyone, please use the raise hand function to indicate you would like to ask a question. Our first question comes from Larry Vaught.
Good afternoon, Craig. Just kind of wondered what kind of messages and phone calls and all of you had in the last few hours since you got into the Final Four.
More than a typical day, yes. That's a great question, Larry, but a lot of really cool, great messages and texts from a lot of my close friends and family and acquaintances and peers, and it's very cool to be connected with them and see how excited that a lot of different people are for our family and Kentucky volleyball family, and so it's been a my thumbs are sore.
Our next question is from Lincoln Arneal.
Hi, Coach. Lincoln Arneal with the Omaha World Herald. You talked a little bit yesterday about what a special experience it is being the Final Four. You've been there as a player, then you were there when you were an assistant at Nebraska. What, from those experiences, do you try to relate to the players on what they can expect in the days ahead?
I think one of the biggest lessons I've learned, is that you just have to continue. You have to enjoy it. I mean, I'm not going to tell our players not to be excited and enjoy this deal and try and suppress enthusiasm. That's not what it's about. I mean, we work really hard to get the opportunity to play in a Final Four, so we're going to enjoy each moment we have together and the days ahead. And I think it's important that had long conversations with John Dunning several years ago about staying in character and being yourself, and we don't need to change or do anything in terms of who we are as people, but respect the game, respect our opponent, and rest, and just try and be loose and rested, and give ourselves the best chance to play on Thursday. But we're going to enjoy each chance we have together.
And then you won a national title when you were at Nebraska, and you're back. You make your first Final Four in Omaha. I mean, does Nebraska have a special place to you?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I wouldn't be, the head coach of Kentucky if I didn't have the opportunity to coach with John, at Nebraska, and the success that we had together. And I mean, John is a winner and has every stop along his career, and so. Certainly gave me a good head start and roadmap to how to build a program, and winning isn't easy, and it's not shits and giggles. It's hard work and it's fun. It's rewarding, but John certainly exemplifies what it takes to be successful and sustain it.
Our next question is from Dice Woodson.
Deuce Woodson with WLKY in Louisville. It usually takes special teams to get to this far in the season, get to a Final Four in any sport. What makes this team so special to get here, and what are they going to have to do to play in the national title game?
Yeah, good question. You have to have a base level of talent. I mean, that's a given. You can't get to this point if you don't have talent. So I'm not even going to talk about that. But to me, in recruiting and in our program, it's not about volleyball. It's about people. And, that's, you're only as good as as the people around you, and that's our staff and team and players. And so when you have a group of people that understand that, and you really invest in each other. I mean, every one of our players could care less if they had a great match or not last night. They were all about, how we were going to do on the next point. So that's a special quality that this group has, and we will do everything, to get ready, X's and O's wise, for Washington Thursday night. But it's going to go back to who the people are, and how we connect with each other and how we inspire each other. That's what it's about.
Our next question is from John Clay.
Craig, I don't know how much of a chance you've had to look at Washington yet, but how does this Washington team compare to the ones you faced in the past, especially the last time you played Washington?
Well, I think they're very good, and Keegan and his staff do a great job of getting a new team ready to play each and every year. And whether you lose one player or 5 players, it's still a new team. And they're very competitive. They have good arms. They play good defense. They block well. They and going back to the last question, I mean, they have obviously a baseline of talent that helped get them here. But they have established themselves as a great program and a great culture, and they play great defense and have good arms. So I think it's a great matchup, I think, for both teams, because both teams don't necessarily have to rely on offense or defense. They can be successful on both sides.
Our next question is from Eric Olson.
Yeah, Craig, you'd mentioned in your opening comments that, you guys have been going at it since August, and Texas has been as well. But then you look at Wisconsin and Washington, and they're here, and they've only played the winter/spring season. Could you discuss how tough mentally is it for a team that's been grinding since August? And does it make any difference at this point with regard to whether you played, in the fall on top of the spring?
Yeah, I don't think at this point it matters. We have 5 days left. All of us can pull within and get through 5 days. I don't think that's going to be an issue. I'm really glad we had the chance to play in the fall. I'm really proud to represent the Southeastern Conference and the leadership, starting with Greg Sankey and Mitch Barnhart, our AD, and administrators in our league, to push to play in the fall. I don't know what we would have done with our time all fall and then tried to play in the spring. As a staff, we consciously made the decision throughout the year we were going to give us plenty of time off, whether that was a couple weeks here or a couple days during the week or even a couple months. We really took off and empowered and trusted our team to stay in shape from November, December, and part of January. So it is tough. It has been tough, and no one can say it's been easy. This group in particular is very mature and very understanding of situations and can push through. And were there moments we would probably rather have a few days and not think about anything and go be with our families and friends and not think about volleyball? For sure. But like you said, at this point, whether it's us or Washington or Texas or Wisconsin, it doesn't matter what we've played prior. Everyone's going to be ready to compete on Thursday.
Our next question is from John Huang, Nolan Media, justthecats.com.
Craig, I've heard you tell your team that they need to be focused, but to have fun also. How good are you at heeding your own advice? You're kind of inscrutable in your demeanor. It's hard for me to tell whether you're having fun or not.
Isn't that the goal, right? You got to keep a poker face. I'm loving every minute of this. This is awesome. I love working with our staff and can't seek happiness. I mean, happiness is fleeting, and so am I happy? Am I enjoying it? Yes. I think it's more about fulfillment and working hard to achieve something or learning something or trying something new and challenging yourself to do things. Those are fulfilling things, and I think that we're going through a fulfilling moment and understanding how hard it's been. And so at the end of the day, we're going to look back and just smile. I think all of us woke up smiling. How can you not, feel good about where we are right now? And when the time comes to prepare for Washington, we'll get after it. But, will I have some happy days playing some golf and sitting on the soccer field watching my daughters play soccer and my wife coach and watch my son play baseball? Can't wait to do that. But I'm certainly enjoying this chance today.
Our next question is from Josh Moore, Herald Leader.
Hey, Craig. Washington's lost. I mean, they've kind of, I guess, not to say you guys haven't been challenged, but they've had some pretty grinded out matches in the tournament, and it's been a while since you all have lost a set. How does that from just evaluating kind of both teams going in, how does that kind of shake up how you guys approach this last game, and maybe how they might be coming into it?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I think you have to break it down into moments. We were, the first set last night, it goes different direction. Who knows where we are? But we knew the situation. We knew that Purdue was playing really well. They got some breaks and had us down 5 or 6 points. And so even though we haven't gone past 3 sets, we've been, tested and challenged. And so I think if you look at the big picture of how many games we played and how many sets or how many losses, you think, you could point to a lot of different things and say, well, that compares to this and this might add up to that. The comparison game, to me is a slow, painful death. And so, we all year long have really done a great job of staying present. And, I think that's all we can do. I can add up things and come up with a solution, but I don't think it matters, to be honest with you.
Our next question is from Robbie General.
Hey, Coach, this is Robbie General from the Muncie Star Press. I guess
Muncie.
Looking across the bracket and seeing Coach Sheffield there, I mean, how surreal of a moment is that, just to see both of you guys kind of on this stage after knowing each other for so many years?
It's a funny story. I mean, Muncie, just 75,000 blue-collar industrial city with a cross-culture of Ball State University and industry, and it's fascinating, to be honest with you. I mean, 1989, 90, we're sitting in a 1,000-square-foot gym coaching JV volleyball together and 8th grade volleyball, and, being an assistant to the most legendary volleyball coach in the state of Indiana, and fast forward to now, it's a great story, and I fell in love with coaching in Muncie with Wes Lyon and Steve Shondell and Dave Shondell and Jim Craig, and just a bunch of legendary people that really helped me understand why I liked coaching, why I fell in love with it, and it has nothing to do with winning and losing. Again, it has to do with teaching and people, and it's so much more than volleyball, and I think all great coaches recognize that. And younger coaches getting into the game sometimes look at it as cool. You can make a living doing it, but if those are the reasons you get into coaching, it's going to be tough to sustain it. So I think we fell in love with the game and what the essence of it was. Late '80s and early '90s.
Yeah, have you guys been able to kind of share any messages in the past couple hours or throughout the tournament at all?
Oh, congrats, best of luck getting ready and, stuff like that. We're so busy with our own programs and teams, it's not a ton. There's just, I have so many friends in the coaching world outside of, our world, but, you're putting a lot of energy into preparation and your team and just kind of staying calm and enjoying the situation that you just kind of let other people do their business.
Our final question for Coach is from Brent Wagner.
Yeah, going back to when you left Nebraska for Kentucky, had you had other opportunities to be a head coach, or were you kind of selective?
Went through the interview process and was offered a job, prior to Kentucky at the same time, actually, and looked at several different schools and had some interviews and chances. And my wife and I felt like Kentucky was the place that we had a 1-year-old, Sophie, our oldest, and now, and Lexington and Kentucky was the place that we wanted to venture out. And we thought at that point in time, let's give it 5 years and see where we are. Megan was a soccer coach and had soccer opportunities as well. We took this one and haven't looked back. It's been a heck of a ride. We loved every minute of being in Lexington.
What made you think you could get the players that you would need there?
Well, to be honest, I wanted to be a head coach at a program that similar to the ones I was an assistant at, Wisconsin and Nebraska, where it's the flagship institution of the state. It's attractive for many different reasons. There was one direction to go. It was up. And so we're in the borderline of the Midwest with a lot of great club and high school volleyball. Volleyball in the South has just started to kind of take off and get bigger and bigger. But for me, just walking on campus, walking around Lexington and the state and how beautiful it was and how you felt at home and you felt like people, really genuinely excited for others and wanted other people to do well. And I think if you have that feel when you walk into a campus or place that you know that other people are going to feel the same when you bring them. And I think that has certainly materialized over the years.
Thank you, Coach Skinner, for your time today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We will be joined momentarily by Alli Stumler. Please use this time to raise or lower your hand as necessary. We are now joined by Alli Stumler. Once again, please use the raise hand function to indicate you would like to ask Alli a question. When you're called on for your question, please state your name and affiliation first. Our first question is from Larry Vaught.
Good afternoon, Alli. Larry Vaught, VaughtsViews.com. Just wondered what last night was like for you. I know it's your second straight late night. You said you like to get to bed early, but what was last night like for you? And how has it been from other people reaching out to you since you got to the Final Four?
It was just a surreal moment, honestly. Getting here, our goal is definitely the championship, winning it all. But we have to focus, each step, each game is just a stepping stone to get there. So we take it day by day. And last night was a big stepping stone, just a game for us to prove ourselves and prove who we are as a team, really get pushed. And I think that game was awesome for us. Obviously, we won in 3, but each game we were definitely stretched and forced to kind of step out of our comfort zone and rely on different people and different circumstances. So it was just an awesome team win. And overall, I think the consensus was we definitely had trouble, getting to sleep. I think it was like 1 o'clock and then 1:30, and I was still just so jacked up and pumped. But now we just get ready for our next game. So it was an awesome night for sure.
Did you hear from a lot of friends or anything message-wise?
Definitely. The phones were going crazy, still are. It's awesome. It's such a blessing to be in that position. It can be seen as annoying or whatever, but I just see it as a huge blessing, and it's awesome just to have such an awesome fan base and people behind us who are just pumped for us and rooting us on from back home.
Thank you.
Our next question is from Deuce Woodson.
Hi, Deuce Woodson with WLKY in Louisville. With getting to the Final Four, and it takes a special team to do that. What makes this team so special to get to this point, and what are you guys going to have to do to get to the next level to play after this round?
Great question. There's tons of answers, different ways you could go with this, but I think that, we talk all the time about what makes our team so special. And this tournament run, we've really focused on our identity as a team and as a group and what makes us, what makes Kentucky Volleyball. And something I wrote for myself as I kind of reflected on that question was we don't settle. And it's just really a determined group. Obviously we have great depth, we have great talent, determination, but our team doesn't settle. So, I talked about Gabby Curry last night, how she's demanding. She wants the ball. Every time she touches it, she wants it to be perfect. If it's not perfect, that next ball will be. So whether you had an off night in serve receive, you're going to see in practice the next day that group's in the gym focusing on serve receive. Or whether connection wasn't there, whatever it is, the team's not going to settle for that, and we're going to work to be perfect and whatever that is. So that's just really awesome, and the determination and grit that this team has, it really is so contagious. And so for the seniors and the leadership to just push that and expect that from everyone is awesome.
And just really quickly, UW or Washington, they haven't, they had grinded out 5-set wins a bunch of times in this tournament, whereas you guys haven't. How difficult is that, taking on a team that they've gone to the wire each of their games?
Yeah, I think even though I think maybe they were pushed physically in that sense, just because they've played more sets, I think, like I said, yesterday's match, we were definitely pushed. We were down, I think, 17-12 in the first, and that first set is really big, and it can go either way. So I think that really was the deciding factor for us. We came back and pushed. So even though maybe we didn't go 5 sets or haven't gone 5 sets yet, we've definitely been pushed throughout. And, in the SEC, we've had to play back-to-back games. So that's definitely an advantage for us. We know how to mentally lock in, and you might not always see the same team as you saw the night before. So for us just to know that we're not sure what we can get or what we are going to get, but that we have to lock in and just take care of what we can control and control our side. And I think we do that day in and day out. So no matter how physically, mentally tired we are, we're going to lock in every game.
Next question is from John Hang, Nolan Media, justthecats.com.
Hey, Alli, last night your teammate Madison Lilly described you as reliable, consistent, and level-headed, the glue that holds the team together. She says you're the most consistent player she's ever played with. That's pretty high praise, especially coming from the SEC Player of the Year. What goes through your mind when you hear words like that from your teammate?
It's a huge compliment, obviously, like you said, from the SEC Player of the Year. She's a stud, and she takes care of business herself, and that's exactly how I would describe her, as reliable every single day. She comes in, takes care of business, and you know what you're going to get from Madison Lilly, and it's not one day you're unsure. You know what you're going to get, and that's so cool, and I'm just so honored and blessed to be able to play with her, especially, her last season here. So it's awesome. I'm pumped, but we're not done yet. So I'm ready just to take on the next game with her and the other seniors.
Yeah, you seem like a person who's always very positive and doesn't look back very often. But in your freshman and sophomore years, the disappointment of losing in the tournament, how do you recall that? What goes through your mind? And is that something that you use to maybe motivate you to continue advancing this year?
Absolutely. I was just talking about on the way down here, actually, how it was so cool. Last year I got to actually go to the championship match, and I got to just see the game, the warm-ups, all the media time they got to do. And I was just talking about how, awesome and how cool it was for such an opportunity. And I was like, that's going to be us. Like, that's so cool. But, like, we deserve to be here. And I just kept imagining, like, our team, like, okay, next year, like, this is our team. And it's just awesome and so rewarding to know, especially in a year like this, that we're in this moment of the Final Four and we're competing and we deserve to be here because of that. So I think definitely I use, our losses and our down points as motivation. And that's very contagious. And our team does the same thing. We have a lot of players who are dedicated to this game and take our losses, I guess, the last couple seasons to heart and take them seriously. So coming for revenge each year for sure.
Next question is from John Clay.
John Clay with the Herald Leader in Lexington. You guys have made a point of saying, yes, getting to the Final Four was a big goal, but it was not the ultimate goal. You want more than that. How have you seen that played out in the demeanor of the team, especially after last night?
Yeah, I think we just have to every day, like I said, every day we come in and we're focused on Washington now. Yesterday we were focused on Purdue, and obviously we have our big goal in mind at the end, but we have to take it day by day. So today we focus on rest, recovery, getting our bodies ready, watching film, doing what we have to do to be ready for tomorrow, and then we do the same thing tomorrow so we can be ready to play on Thursday. So just the demeanor of the team, they're ready to go, and I think that's so cool. Because I think I've said it a bunch, but this team, what you're going to get every day. And when we come out and play, we're focused. On our game against Western Kentucky, we weren't sure what time we were going to play. We're sitting around. Bodies are getting cold after we've just warmed up, and then we have to re-warm up to get ready for the match. So there's a lot of things that come at you, but whenever that whistle blew for the first serve, we're focused in and we're ready to go. And that happens every single game with this team.
Our next question is from Larry Vaught.
Alli, there's been so much talk about different players on the team, but your freshmen this year, how important have they been to get you guys maybe over the hump and get you to the Final Four now?
Yeah, it's huge in our program, and they have bought in 100% from the moment they stepped on campus. Right when they first got there, they didn't have a normal experience. They didn't have a normal summer. We were at home in quarantine, and we weren't able to all bond together. And I really think that hurts a program whenever, all programs across the country, whenever you can't get to know your freshmen and build that connection, get that glue, in chemistry. But I think the freshmen stepped in and knew exactly what their roles were. And it might be different one day or it might be different another day, but they come in and take care of business, and that's awesome. Across the board, all of them do. And they definitely give back to the team. They're not focused on themselves or focused on how they're playing, but just how can we make the program better? And you can't teach that. It's just whether you have it or you don't. So they're gritty, fiery, fun bunch to be around, and super fun. So they've definitely done what they need to help this program.
Our next question is from John Clay. John,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay. Alli, what do you know about this Washington team as compared to when you played them in the past?
Yeah, we haven't watched them a ton. I've been keeping up with them in the tournament, but I think they're consistent. Obviously, we've seen them go to 5 sets a bunch this season, especially in the tournament, and they're gritty and fiery, make a lot of defensive plays, which I think is so fun because matches when you're just getting after it all over the place. You can have offensive power, but you win games on defense. If you can keep the ball off the floor, serve-pass game is huge, and I think both us and them have really good defensive games. So I'm excited, and I think it'll be awesome.
Go back to Larry Vaught for the next question.
Can you remember the first time you met Gabby when you stepped on campus, and what that was like and how she was your freshman year as far as helping you?
Yeah, I think I first met her. Well, she actually came to whenever they played at Floyd Central, played against Purdue, actually. I don't remember what year it was. I guess it was her freshman year whenever she got there, graduated early and got there. She was liberating because Ashley Jusek at the time had an ACL injury, so she was broing. And I just remember I didn't know really her at all, but I DM'd her or messaged her on Snapchat maybe and was just like, hey, good game, so excited to play with you whenever. And she was like, thank you, and she was so sweet. I was a little intimidated, obviously, getting on campus, freshman. She's a top dog, DSing or broing at the time. She's a stud out of high school. The cool girl, has all the friends, all that stuff. So definitely trying to make a good impression, but she's definitely grown to be one of my best friends on the team. And she's so down to earth, wants to see you succeed more than she wants herself to succeed, which some people don't have. And like I said earlier, you can't teach stuff like that. So she's just an awesome person, wants to make you better, uplifting, encouraging. Definitely someone you go to at all times, on the court and off. Just has a demeanor of she knows that she takes care of business, and just an awesome teammate and player, better off the court than on. So
our next question is from John Hang.
Alli, I'm going to put you on the spot, but you seem to be rolling, so I know you can handle this. But Craig was lamenting last night about the lack of coverage by some of the national media outlets in terms of women's sports and volleyball in particular. You're on the biggest stage now that you can get. So what would you like to tell the world in general about women's volleyball, and in particular about University of Kentucky volleyball?
Yeah, it's growing every day, and I think that's so cool that people are slowly starting to see and buy in. I think it's encouraging to athletes, young, old, no matter what, that, girls' sports are growing, especially volleyball, and we're putting in the work to, get the coverage, get people to notice, and I think we're slowly starting to get in that direction. And we have people who are advocating, and, people like Craig, coaches who are working their tails off just to make it possible for us to have the same opportunity. And, we fought hard and we put in the same amount of time and effort as guys sport. And I think that we're slowly getting there, and I think people are starting to recognize us. So, yeah, I think just keep, watching sports, watching us do our thing, supporting. That's really all we can ask.
Thank you. Good answer.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alli, for your time.
Awesome. Thank you all.